Hi, my dear lovely students. Welcome to this session. In this class, we are going to solve some para jumbles where the opening and closing statements are provided. So often there are 4 to 5 statements that are provided and you have to rearrange so that it forms a meaningful paragraph. However, the questions we are going to solve today are also frequently seen in the competitive exams. So let's get started. My name is Juhi Narula. In detail, we have already done a video where we have talked about the strategies to solve the para jumbles. The same strategies are going to be applicable to such questions also. However, let's quickly revise once. First is it is very important to understand the context. We should always remember that at the end of the day, most of the questions that you get in the verbal ability tend to test your ability to comprehend the information correctly. So it is very important that you understand the gist of the discussion and what is going around, right? The second is looking for opening or closing sentences or both. However, the questions that we are going to do this time already have an opening and a closing statement. So you need to see which statement connects well with the opening one and which statement connects well with the closing one. So this is a very important clue, and with opening and closing statements provided, the questions are going to become easier. Let me tell you this. Next important suggestion is to look for mandatory pairs. When we talk about mandatory pairs, mandatory is compulsory, essential. You should look for the statements that will go hand in hand. That can be a cause and effect relationship, that can be pros and cons discussed, that can be problem or solution, that can be 2 points taking the discussion ahead, or 2 points that are contrasting each other. So you should see what are those two sentences that you can combine so that one part of the puzzle gets sorted. The next important thing is to look for transition words. So if you have been attending my lectures or if you are seeing my videos, I am one trainer who's going to really emphasize on the importance of transition words. Observing transition words really help you, solve the questions very quickly. So what are transition words? Transition words are the words that help us understand how is the discussion proceeding. For example, words like and, but, nonetheless, in spite, despite, furthermore, moreover, uh, hence. So these are words that help you understand how the discussion further takes place. So if you get words like and, furthermore, in addition to, moreover, discussion is being taken forward. If you talk about words like yet, but, in spite, despite, nonetheless, you know that the discussion is being taken in the opposite direction, right? So please do observe these words. You're going to see that you are able to reach to the answers very quickly. Next important suggestion is look for pronoun clues. So what are pronoun clues? Pronouns are replacers. So what do we mean by replacers? Words that we use instead of nouns. So this is an important clue because a statement that has got a pronoun will not begin the discussion, first important thing. And whenever you are seeing any pronoun in any sentence, you would always want to find out that what is this pronoun referring to. So that indicator, I mean, the sentence that offers the noun for the pronoun usually helps us identify the mandatory pairs also. So these are few quick tips. We have already, like I previously mentioned, have had a detailed video on the tips discussed in detail. Here the focus is more on question solving. So let's get started. So as you can see, this is the first question. You have been provided with statement 1 and statement 6. So statement 1 will be the opening statement. Let me write this for you. Yeah. So this would be your opening statement and this will be your closing statement. What you need to do is you need to rearrange these 4 sentences so that all these 6 sentences are able to form a meaningful paragraph. I'll give you one entire minute. Please try this and then we are going to discuss it together. Get it started. Ensure that you are applying the logic. Ensure that you are trying to understand the context. Ensure that you are reading and reasoning out parallelly. Just don't read it once and then reason out in second go. In that case, you are going to invest a lot of time, and that much privilege we don't have. So let's get started. In your home, modern box attached to your computer will look into your wealth of goods and services. So we are talking about modern box in our households, right? Now, let's see. People in developed countries like US and Canada have already started using online shopping as a routine mode of their purchasing goods and services. So, are you able to understand there? So, this is a pronoun, and like I said, this is a replacer. Now, this needs to have a previous statement that can help us understand that what is there referring to, right? So in context of understanding, always keep this in mind that we should be able to gather that what is the context referring. So here we can see as a routine as a routine mode, so people are using online shopping as a routine mode of their purchasing goods and services. Looks like it can be a mandatory pair where there can refer to people, right? So we can consider this. However, let's read all the sentences before we completely uh, agree on this part that PQ will be the mandatory pair. Not only does it allow you to talk to your friends on the other side of the people, so not only there is this phrase, but also, not only but also, right? So this we need to look for, and we already have not only, and this is giving an indication of but also. So this can be a good mandatory pair. I'm sure you must have seen these are conjunctions. So when we talk about this combination, we call them paired conjunctions, right? So these go hand in hand. So not only but also, both and, neither nor, either or, these are paired conjunctions. So take a look. Not only does it allow you to talk to your friends on the other side of the world, but also allows you to watch a movie, buy airline tickets, pay bills, and even get cash. So how this modern box attached to your computer is doing so? So definitely we can conclude that RS is a mandatory pair. Now out of the given combinations, PQ will only work better and RS will work better. Now we have two sets with us. We have RS and we have PQ. So there can be two possibilities. Either we go for RS PQ or we go for PQ RS. So we need to check the closing statement and see which sets better here. So which is the sentence with which we can connect S6. So let's take a look. Internet shoppers still believe that there is no secure and convenient way of paying on internet. Consumers are connected with two main security reasons. So if you are able to see, still believe. So first you have to introduce who are internet shoppers, right? So that is the reason we need to first have RSPQ, and then we are going to go for statement S6. So the best combination here would be the first one, this one, right? So the correct answer is you place statement 1, then you place RS, then you place PQ, and then you place statement 6, right? So this is how this set will be sorted, right? I hope you are clear. Let's move to the next question. Again, I'll give you a minute. Please try this. The directions remain to be the same. S1 is the opening statement. S6 is the closing statement. Rearrange PQRS. So please see R is here. Don't get confused. So that there is a meaningful paragraph that can be formed. So let's see. Arrogant managers can over evaluate their current performance in competitive position, listen poorly. So they're introducing the trait of arrogant managers and what arrogant managers do. Come to P statement. Bureaucrats' culture can smoother. So here there is no, great relevance being shown. Let's further read. That present threat and opportunities. Okay. Those who want to respond to shifting conditions, inwardly focused employees can have difficulty seeing the very forces. So, if you're able to see that present threat and opportunity, so what are presenting threat and opportunity? Uh, can have difficulty focusing on the very forces that present threat and opportunity. So, who are presenting arrogant managers? So, are you able to understand that after S we can place Q? So, this will be a sentence that will make sense together. Inwardly focused employees can have difficulty seeing the very forces that are presenting threats and opportunities, right? Now we come to PNR. Bureaucrat cultures can smoother those who want to respond to. So if there is a bureaucratic culture that can smoothen the entire process. So PR has to be again one sentence. SQ has to be another sentence. So we are sorted again with two mandatory pairs. We need to see how the arrangement can be done. So the forces, if we talk about sentence S, inwardly focused employees can have seeing difficulty the very forces that present threat and opportunities. So who are presenting threat and opportunities? Arrogant managers, right? So we can already understand that S will go well with S1. Hence the combination that you can pick here is right. So I hope you are clear. I'll give you 1 minute. Quickly read the entire paragraph and see if you have absorbed the information, and hope the paragraph makes a meaningful sense to you. So quickly take a look, and then we are going to move to the next question. So let's move to the next one. Try this. I'll give you 1 minute, and then we are going to discuss it together. So let's see. Ebooks and e-publishing both have their obvious advantages. So far, a lot of publishers already showing interest in e-publishing. Also, with the country being the third biggest publisher after US and UK. So you can see this clue also, right? Though authors in India have only just begun to realize the immense benefits of digital technology in this field. So see, there is this contrast though. So have their obvious advantages. You can see the contrast can go well with statement one. Let's further read. The potential in this field is immense, and the response to has been quite encouraging. So let's see how we can connect the statements. You are going to see this word also with the country being the third biggest publisher after US and UK. So which is the country? Country is India, right? So R and Q will definitely be a mandatory pair. See, this is something that you need to pick very intelligently. How? See, authors in India have only just begun to realize the immense benefit in this field, and with the country being the third biggest publisher after US and UK. So, which is the country? India. In other sentences, we are not getting this clue. So, for sure, you can come to this conclusion that R and Q will act as a mandatory pair. I hope I make sense. Now let's see what is the next combination that we can go for. The potential in this field is immense and the response too has been quite encouraging. So how? So far with a lot of publishers already showing interest in e-publishing. So how is the response encouraging? That's what P is explaining. So I'm sure you can come to this conclusion also that S and P will be again a mandatory pair. Right now we need to see how do we arrange both these sets. So ebooks and e-publishing both have their advantages. E-publishing is a boon for established and wannabe writers as cost effective and cut down the time. So far a lot of publishers are already showing interest, and sentence S6 is again talking about the benefit. So with P, S6 is going to show a better connection where the benefits are taken forward. So we can go for this particular combination. Statement 1 is fixed, statement C is fixed. We can go for RQSP. I hope you're sorted with this question, everybody. I'll give you 30 seconds. Please read it and see whether you are able to imbibe the information offered in this particular parajumble set. So let's further proceed. Please try this question. I'll give you a minute and then we are going to discuss it together. So let's try. The genesis of service tax emanates from the ongoing structural transformation of the Indian economy. Let's see. Leading to a steady deterioration in tax GDP ratios. Okay. Despite the growing presence of the service sector in Indian economy, it remained out of the tax net prior to 1944 to 1995. So, are you able to see that Q and R is forming a mandatory pair, everybody? Despite the growing presence of the service sector, what happened? So we can very easily conclude that Q and R act as a mandatory pair, whereby presently more than one half of the GDP originates from the service sector. So whereby is we need to see whereby where do we fit in the statement whereby. Now it emanates, so as the sentence is saying, the genesis of service tax emanates from the ongoing structural transformation, and how that statement S is explaining. So clearly after S1, S should come. Now you are remaining with this set QR and then you have the statement P. So we need to see where do we place these sentences. So if you'll see, despite the growing presence, it remained out of text. So if this something has happened in a negative way, then that negative thing is going to impact to steady deterioration, right? So P is an output to what Q and R are suggesting. So that is the reason P should be placed after QR. So we can go for this placement as QR and P. And if you will read the sentence 6, the service tax was introduced in 1994-95 on a select category of service at a low rate of 5%. So what's the effective measure that has been taken? That's what statement S6 explains, right? I'll give you a minute. Please read this and see whether you are sorted with the combination. So I'm sure you have read it. Let's further proceed and try this question. So let's discuss. Now let's read the first statement, which says, recently Grameen has taken on different challenge by setting up operations in the US. So Grameen looks like to be a name of a company. Globally, the working microfinance equation consists of borrowing funds cheaply. So this is basically trying to explain that how the microfinance equation works. Money may be tight in the waning recession and keeping loan defaults and overall expenses sufficient low. But is it is still a nation of 1 lakh bank branches. Micro lenders, including Grameen, do this by, so you can take a clue, do this by charging colossal interest rates as high as 60% and 70%. So, see, it's not always that you have to proceed in the logical order where we are looking for the statement that should connect with S1. Even if you are able to find a statement that connects with S6, you will still be able to solve the parajumble. So, look for this, do this by charging colossal interest. So, what do we mean here? So by keeping loan defaults and overall of expenses low, and let's see. So recently has taken a different challenge setting up operations, but it is still a nation of these branches. So you can see S1 and S will show connection, and if you are going to see uh, Globally, the working micro finance equation consists of borrowing funds cheaply and keeping low defaults and overall expenses sufficiently low. So I'm sure you're able to see that P and R also forms a mandatory pair. I hope this gives you the clarity. So after S, Q will come because money may be tight in the warning recession, and that's basically explained by PR. So the correct combination that you can go for is S, and then you place Q, and then you place PR. See, let me explain. Recently, this has taken to set up operations, but it is still not in a very powerful position as far as the branches are concerned. Now, then this says that money may be tight in the waning process, and how money is tight? Money is tight means the flow is not very effective. Globally, the working microfinance equation consists of borrowing funds cheaply. And are you able to see this transition word and how? So this is one part consists of borrowing funds cheaply, and the second part is keeping loan defaults and overhead expenses sufficiently low. So this is how the trend is. And then micro lenders, including lenders as people, borrowers and lenders. I'm sure you are clear with the term, including Grameen do this. How do they do this? By keeping money tight, but they're charging colossal interest rate. So that's an output. So if you're able to see how the output is happening, then you will be able to have a better arrangement of sentences, right? I hope you're sorted on this question. So let's try the next one. Again, a minute for you to solve, and then we progress with the discussion. Okay, let's see. In the middle of one side of the square sits the chairman of the committee, the most important person in the room. So we are talking about the chairman. For a committee is just not a mere collection of individuals. On him rests much of the responsibility for the success or failure of the committee. So of course, for him, uh, we can gather is referring to chairman. So it's a pronoun clue. We are going to utilize this. While this is happening, we have an opportunity to get the feel of this community. So committee. So let's see the S statement. As the meeting opens, he runs briskly through a number of formalities. So again, we are saying he. So that clearly suggests that when S1 is beginning the statement and chairman is the noun, so he is the replacer for chairman. I hope you are able to absorb this particular information. Now, what do we do with Q and S? We place it after S1, right? So this says he's the most important person, and how he's the most important person, this statement Q is explaining. So I hope you get this clarity. This is very quick to comprehend that between Q and S, which statement should be placed first, right? because it said that he's the most important person. So if you look at statement Q, it's elaborating the idea. On him rests much of the responsibility for the success and failure of the committee. So that's the reason he's the most important person. And what does he do? As the meeting opens, he runs briskly through a number of formalities. So I'm sure you're able to understand that Q and S will immediately be coming after S1. Now you have two sentences view that are there to be rearranged. One is P, which says, for a committee is just not a collection of individuals. While this is happening, we have an opportunity to get the feel of this committee. So are you able to understand while this is happening, what is happening? That he is doing a lot of formalities, chairman. So in a sequential order, R will make more sense if we place it after S, right? And then QSR is sorted. So of course P will come in the end. For a committee is just not a mere collection of individuals. From the moment its numbers meet, it begins to have a sort of nebulous life of its own. And how? It's just not a mere collection of individuals. This point is validated, explained, reinforced in sentence S6. So this is how the correct combination is going to run through, right? So take clues. Now, the catch here is that if you're not seeing multiple clues, you're not able to see him, or in sentence S, you're not able to see he, and you're not able to connect it to the chairman, then you'll find it difficult. For another example that you need to observe is while this is happening, what is happening, that's being shown, in the previous two sentences. And then statement S6 is elaborating on the idea presented by P. So there are a lot of clues. Maybe anywhere you pull the string and you will see the connection happening. But for that, you need to be very, very observant, right? So take 30 seconds, read it and see whether the context is clear to you. And then we move to the next question. So let's try the next one. I'll give you a minute. Please sort this out and then we are going to discuss. So it should be a force of gravitation, what I can gather from the context. You can slightly modify the sentence and then start solving. A force of gravitation exists between everybody in the universe. So let's begin with the discussion. A force of gravitation exists between everybody in this universe. Normally, it's very small. When one of the body is planet like Earth, the force is considerable. It has been investigated by many scientists, including Galileo and Newton. So it has been investigated, right? So what were we talking about? Force of gravitation. So this shows connection. Let's further read. Everything on or near the surface of the earth is attracted by mass of the earth. So let's come to statement S. This gravitational force depends on the mass of the bodies involved. So this gravitational force, you need to see how the statements are showing connection. So now we know that it is the force, gravitational force, that we are talking about, and then we can see P and R are showing some association because both of the sentences talk about the force the earth exerts, right? So let's first come to a conclusion that can we say P and R can form a mandatory pair. Normally, it's very small. When one of the bodies is a planet like Earth, the force is considerable. So everything on or near the surface of the earth is attracted by the mass of the earth. So in the context of earth, the logic builds. So yes, P and R can form a mandatory pair, right? So we are going to see the clues. So of course, you first discuss about earth, then you go somewhere else, you come back to earth. So this is going to make the discussion go haywire. Now let's see what do we do with the other two statements that I have. Other statement is Q and then is S. So it has been investigated by many scientists, including Galileo and Newton. This gravitational force depends on mass of the body. So first the investigation is going to happen, and then you can conclude something about the output or the behavior, right? So in general also, first you need to mention who's studying, and then you're going to see what is the result of that particular study, right? So placing Q first after S is going to make the discussion more logical. So we can go for the combination QSPR here, right? So I hope we are sorted, everybody. Let's take a look at the entire context first once again. A force of gravitation exists between everybody in the universe. Then we say this gravitational force depends on the mass of the bodies involved. Then we say normally it's very close, small, but one of the bodies is the force is considerable. And then you say everything on or near the surface of the earth is attracted by mass of the earth. The greater the mass, this is again a very important clue, mass of the earth, and then this is building on the discussion. The greater the mass, the greater is the earth's force of attraction. We can call it force of attraction, gravity, right? So even this is one clue that you can utilize. Maybe you can start by the end. I'm saying that it's not, again, please don't make a prominent ways to stick to the ideas. You can be flexible in the approach and look for mandatory pairs from anywhere you would want to, right? So I hope the question is sorted. Let's move to the next one. Again, I'll give you a minute to solve, and then we are going to discuss. Try this, utilize the clues, and I'm sure we have solved so many questions by now, so you must have got the rhythm of the discussion. So let's get started. Calcutta, unlike other city, kept its trams. So trams are a sort of vehicle, sort of a ghoda gadi sort of a thing, right? So as a result, there is horrendous congestion. Horrendous is something that is extremely troublesome. Okay. It was going to be the first in South Asia. They ran down the center of the road to ease in the city, decided to build an underground railway line. The foundation stone was laid in 1972. So now we have to see how we take the discussion ahead. So uh, they run down the center of the road. So we are talking about trams here, right? So as you see, they cannot point to anything else except trams. So after S1, R will come. So here we took a pronoun clue that they is a pronoun, and we need to find an antecedent, and there is no antecedent that is fitting except trams, right? Now, if you will see what is, as a result, there is horrendous congestion. So they are running in the middle of the road, and then there is a problem created. So that problem is being discussed by P. So as a result is again another thing that's going to tell you that we are talking about an outcome. Now, there's a problem that has occurred, and to ease in the city decided to build an underground railways line. It was going to be the first in South Asia. So again, this is very easy for you to observe that S and Q again frame another mandatory pair, and the foundation was laid in 1972. So this further builds on the idea. So this was an easy one. So the correct combination will be S1, RP, SQ, and S6, right? So Calcutta kept trams, then they used to run in the middle of the road. Then the problem of congestion occurred, and in order to sort this problem, an underground railway line was made, and this was the first in South Asia, and the foundation was laid in 1972. So you can see these clues. See, it is an important clue. As a result, is an important clue. They is an important clue. To ease in the city, decided to. The problem is going to be talked before. So these are little details that you should pay attention to, and then intelligently catch on these links and solve the parajumble, right? So let's move to the next question. Again, I'll give you a minute to solve, and then we are going to discuss. So let's try this. For some time in his youth, Abraham Lincoln was manager for a shop. Then a chance customer would come. Young Lincoln' way of keeping shop was entirely unlike anyone else. Lincoln would jump up and attend to his needs and then revert to his reading. He used to lie full length on the counter of the shop, eagerly reading a book. Never before had Lincoln had so much time for regarding as had then. So if you are going to see, we need to look for some association. So if you will see, then a chance would come, Lincoln would jump and attend to his needs. So his needs refers to customer. So that's what I could gather in my first reading, that customer and the response of Lincoln has to be associated. So I am concluding that P and R works as a mandatory pair. Now look at this. These are little details that you can, see. Young Lincoln way of keeping shop was entirely unlike. So how it was unlike, that we need to see, and that unlike is being explained by S. He used to lie full length on the counter, eagerly reading a book. And then what used to happen? So then is a time clue that you can see that this is what he is doing. And then at a later stage, if a customer is coming, then how is he responding? Right? So never before had Lincoln had so much time for reading as had then. So you can see these are little details that that will really make your life sorted. The only thing that you need to keep in mind is that you need to have a knack to observe these details. The unfortunate part is that students are not able to get through. Why? Because they're not making any conscious effort. So if you are having tricks in your mind, if you're having a strategized approach, if you're not running haywired, then you will see how easy these questions are. In fact, when we were doing it together, I think we took less than 2 minutes to solve it in a discussion. So when you are going to do it on your own, you're going to see that you're able to reach to quicker answers. Even in 40 to 50 seconds you will be able to solve the parajumble, and that should be the end goal. While you are practicing, there can be instances where any question might demand more than 1 minute, 2 minutes. That's fine, but at the you should know that what is your end goal and try to reach towards it as soon as possible by practicing more questions, by getting into the details, by being observant, right? These are things that you need to keep in mind. So take a quick look again on your own, and then we move to the next question. So I'm sure we are sorted here. Let's do this question again, a minute for you to solve, and then we are going to discuss. So let's begin the discussion. All the land was covered by the ocean. The leading god fought the monster, killed it, and chopped its body into two halves. Okay. A terrible monster prevented the gods from separating the land from water. Okay. And then what did the god do? The leading god fought the monster as the monster was preventing. So this, while you are reading, you will be able to see that boss QP is a mandatory pair, and you don't need to make any extra effort even to realize this, right? So first sentence you might not get a clue, second sentence you'll get a clue that a monster prevented gods. And then what did the leading god did? Leading god killed the monster and chopped the body in two halves. So the god made the sky out of the upper part of the body and ornamented it with stars. The god created the earth from the lower part, grew plants on it, and populated it with mines. So populated with animals. So then again, if you're reading, as you are reading, you will see R and S show connection, right? The god molded the first people out of clay according to his own image in mind. So what happened on earth is being talked about. Now there's a catch here. A lot of students who say that, ma'am, why can't we keep S first and R later? Why we just have to go by R and S? Why? Because see, if sky is sorted, now earth, what is happening, and people are staying on the earth, so S will connect better with S6, right? So these are little details that you need to observe, that you need to be careful about, you need to take into account, right? A small mistake, and if it's a theta question, you lose the marks for the entire set. So be very, very careful and observe these details and ponder on it, right? So when I look at it, I'll understand that because statement S shows what's happening on earth, and S6 is also reflecting the same, S and S6 will show better connection. So the correct combination that you can go for is QPRS, right? So I'm sure you are sorted with the para jumble. Let's give you another 30 seconds. Read the entire paragraph and see whether it makes a meaningful sense to you or not. So I'm sure we are sorted. This brings us to the end of the discussion. I hope you really liked the video. Please keep practicing. You will only get the momentum and the right confidence when you'll practice, and please ensure that your effort is in the right direction. Right? And don't forget, consistency is the key. Take good care of yourself. Watch the space for more videos. All the best. God bless.